Here we are with another progression video. Today's August the 30th, 2025. So today, you can see, I've noticed today that the yard is not really growing because it's been so dry. Seen a post on Twitter that said that the there he is. Seen a post on Twitter that said that we've only had, this is in Nashville there too, that they only had 2 days with, measurable rain. And I don't know how many days here in East Tennessee we've had. We had rain in a little bit, it's been, I think we had a little light shower one night before that. I don't remember, it was at the 1st of August, was it? Or was it? Knock yourself stupid. Boy rode down that way with his bike. I don't see his bike parked anywhere. So that tells me he's down there, but he can come back up. There he is. There he is. But anyways, we hadn't had a lot of rain here too. You can look at the grass and see a lot of brown patches. And I haven't mowed in a pretty good bit. So it ain't like, you can see them all over here. A lot of brown. So, but next week is, what do you call it? Wednesday or Thursday. We're supposed to have another cool down. I'm not really sure how cool it's supposed to get. I haven't really paid attention. Oh, how cool it's supposed to get. But it's another, I have to look at the 500 millibar. I'm not really sure if it's showing a deep digging trough or not. To see, so. But also they said the day 4 through 8 that there was a chance for severe weather, but they didn't really specify, a spot where possibly it could be. Making a progression video. I've been making my goof off videos, for, I haven't done a progression video in a little bit. Yeah, okay. But I don't know where you're at, but if you read the wording. Huh?
I done this.
Yeah. If you read the wording on day 4 through 8, it kind of does sort of talk about a possibility of severe weather. I don't know if that's in the, the plains, north, south plains, or the central plains, or, because that's kind of been what's hit.
There's another reason why I want to post videos on the computer. Because, remember, I can't post videos on my phone.
Okay.
I have to verify so then I can post them.
Now with that, when you sign into something, it signs in on everything, CJ, not just on your phone. It don't magically, you don't have to do this on your computer. To post videos, you're still going to have to do it. It's still going to be you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways,
One-handed down the hill.
yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, you could try it, but I would see possibly if you lose control of it, it's gonna not. You might want to put a helmet on before you head down that way.
With one on my hand.
Yeah.
But with two hands, I'm safe. I'm probably safe.
Well, I mean, there's always a possibility of wrecking two hands as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's less of a chance.
Right. But I'm just saying, doing one hand with flying down a hill is
You're probably gonna.
well, you're not probably. You just might. You know what I mean? If you somehow do lose control, you know what I mean?
I can.
Right. Is your reaction time that good?
I want to do a simulation right now.
Okay.
Like here.
Right.
On flat ground. That means I have to get to a high gear so that I can get pretty fast.
Yeah. But yeah.
I want to do the fourth gear.
Okay. But they didn't really specify where, so I'm kind of wondering where it's going to end up at. The severe weather for this past couple of times has been, well, like today they have a marginal risk down in Arizona and in, where else? The panhandle of Oklahoma,
And then
northern panhandle of Texas, and Nebraska has been in on it. Colorado's been in on it too for the last week, I think. So
bumps down through there, I will lose control. Because I felt myself going.
that's what I was saying. Just, you know, you might want to put a helmet on before you attempt it, just to protect your little head. And
My little idiotic fragile head.
so that's, I don't know if that's where any kind of risk would be at, or if it would be for, now I think there was one for Louisiana
I'm going so fast.
and where's another one at? I think Louisiana and Arkansas was in on it one day. But we just have to see where it falls at. They haven't put nothing out. They just keep it in the wording. That's pretty much what they do. But like this being our second season, you know, you never know
Right.
what's gonna happen.
At least he's not idiotic, right?
Yep. So them areas has been in on it. So we'll see what where this one falls at. If it does, and that's, you know, I think they said there was supposed to be a trough, and there was supposed to be, you know, other things that would what do you call it? That would you know, initiate any kind of severe weather. I think the trough is the biggest thing. It's coming further south. You know, starting to work. They're starting to work their way further south, which, you know, would, you know, bring severe weather. So ain't that right, Bo? The air is still kind of cool. It's not, you know, like right now it's, you know, the sun's kind of going down. So it's getting a little later in the afternoon, so it's starting to feel a little bit better. But it's still got cool evenings and warm days, but you can tell summer's still hanging on. Like now the temp is, you know, 84 or something like that. I think today it was kind of warm. It wasn't hot, but it was warm. And warm, not in a pleasant way, just warm and warm. And there was a little bit, the dew points were in the low 60s, so that kind of makes it where it still feels sort of kind of comfortable, but then again, it also feels sort of a little bit sticky. You know, it's not, you know, perfect. You know, down the 50s there to me feels clean, and you know, you can feel a little bit of sweat, you know, if you're walking around or whatever. It's not, you know, I would say upper 60s, mid to upper 60s or 50s would be the perfect dew points to have. You know, but the temp drops off quickly whenever you get, you know, low dew points. So now here with Delilah. She's like, would you be quiet? And Bojama. Bo. What was that, Delilah? But anyway, you can see some of the leaves are actually kind of orange because of the sun, because of lack of rain too. A lot of the plants here, like some of these trees, the limbs are actually brown. And a lot of people say, well, the leaves are changing. No, they're changing to, you know, lack of water. Just, you know, just like the grass is. Grass has lack of water. You know, a lot of the trees do too. And we'll take a tour again to show everything. Oh. Look at you. I was like, what the crud? And you can hear the leaves are crunchy because of lack of water. They're falling off. Especially them are really taking a hit for lack of water. Of course, that's been shedding all year, all summer. These are still blooming good. You can really see it in the garden. There's no that I sprayed with spray, so that's the reason it kind of looks dead. The banana tree still holding strong, but it does have a lot of dried up. It looks like dried tobacco. There at the bottom, man. Mom's tree over there. These right here has been kind of shaded. You ain't really getting nothing. Of course, it's got 7 dust on it to keep it from getting eat up with bugs. Good times, right? Sure. And you see a lot of the brown spots over there. No. See where the tomatoes are really drying up because of no water. And then you can see the cucumbers are really hurting too for lack of water, because they need plenty of water, because they are, you know, a lot water based. There he goes, heading down that way. And then of course strawberries ain't doing nothing. So but you can see the morning glories, they're doing okay. They're still, you know, they finally got reconnected over there. They're never gonna kill them off. That guy, he can spray them all he wants, it ain't gonna do no good. Let's just wave at him. Driving on their old garden. You get about part of the way and then it'll be it for him. Yep, he's gonna get off and walking. He's like, forget that crap. But you can see a lot of the trees and the bushes and stuff is not doing so well with lack of rain. This stuff if that spray he put on there might be good. This stuff's, you know, taking a hit with no rain. What is that? How come you guys ain't flying on the ground? Is that probably because they ain't no what do you call it? There ain't no water down there to get, except in the morning. That's the reason they're flying close to the ground in the morning, because they're dirt daubers looking for water to pack, you know, with dirt, so they can make their houses. You can see this tree or bush right here really wilting because of the lack of rain. It's folding up because there ain't been no rain. And that one's hitting hard because of lack of rain. A lot of this stuff's dying out and nothing's growing. This is a mess right here. Big mess. See a lot of this dirt. There's the ashes where I cleaned out the heater. Finally, I cleaned it out. Evening. Cleaned it out at the end of the day. There he comes. What? Oh. But been a lot of lack of rain. You can, like I said, you can see a lot of the brown spots. Looks terrible. It's getting warmer. No rain. Same as last year. Let's talking about progression. Talking about no rain. Wasn't as long as last year, but this year is we've had a little bit of a stretch with no rain. That's typical for August, though.
Woo.
Good little run, huh?
Yeah. I like to run.
So what do you think the rest of the year is gonna have?
Naders.
You think so? Why do you say that?
Just a flat out tornado outbreak.
Why do you say that?
Well, with the fluctuating temperatures, I bet one of these hot days they're going to bring a tornado outbreak. Like any person would say for a typical fall that knows about meteorology. Which one seems lower? Is that cracker?
Damn it.
Fine.
Do what?
What is short? Yeah, maybe I should do it. I'm just going to.
Damn, throat starts itching. But I don't know if we have a tornado outbreak. I'd say, well, we might have some severe weather, or we might not. Last year, if I remember right, oh, excuse me, when we had our end of the season is when we had we was in a marginal risk. Actually, no, I don't think we were. It was actually east of us, south of us, southwest of us, and then the next day it was near the coast, near the Gulf Coast, the day before, and then the next day it was east of us. So I don't think it had. We didn't ever get into anything last year. We had, I think we had some storms, but it really wasn't, you know, real bad or nothing. Anyway, that's how it's going though. Real dry right now. Typical August. You know, that's the way August normally is it's dry and hot. But without the hot part. A lot of, you know, I heard, well, not a lot of people. A lot of people keep saying fall's fall. And then you got other moms, she's like, well, we might have an early fall. Well, it could be. We'll have to see what, you know, comes about to see if it, you know, cools off again and we just keep getting them fluctuating days. That's when everybody can get sick, is in fluctuating days, you know, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. You know, you get to feeling, of course, mine are just allergies. When it gets, you know, a little warm, my allergies go crazy. If it's cool, my allergies ain't all that bad, but I still do get, like last winter I was sick. I would say from early December I was sick all the way to after January. Because I remember being sick on Christmas. I had, mine was sinuses. I kept having real bad clogged sinuses. Mom's like, you and Crystal both got a sinus infection. You just don't go to the doctor and get it taken care of. Yeah, but I don't want to constantly keep taking antibiotics. And so I wouldn't say I'm in the prime. I'm in my prime right now. You know, I do feel a little tired, and I hurt a lot. You know, I have various aches and pains. What are you doing over there a little bit? You. Looks like she might have took a dump right by the, or she might have took a whiz. I don't know, but she turned around and smelled of it. That's weird. But then, look at Bo over there. We'll have to see how this year goes. If we're having an early fall or if it's just false fall. We'll see. A lot of people say, you know, hashtag false fall. They've been using that term a lot. But they haven't been, you know, they've all the way till, I think, 2 weeks into September. A week after the last week of August and the first week or 2 weeks into September are supposed to be kind of cool. But like we had a cool down last week and then it started warming up this weekend. And then it'll cool back down again. That's typical fall weather there. So we'll see if we have an early fall. We'll see what happens. If the leaves start changing, or you know, you can tell the sun's a little bit weaker and we ain't getting as much surface-based instability. So not your typical instability of 3,000 or 2,000 like we've been getting. So sun's getting a little weaker at a different angle, and you could tell we've had some deep digging troughs. That's normal during fall. You know, the early, you know, if you start getting in fall, your troughs start coming deeper into the south, which is typical for us. You know, you can get severe weather, but another thing is we haven't had any really landfalling hurricanes yet, and that's good. But that doesn't mean that, you know, it's over, because it's just now coming into the peak hurricane season. So we'll see what comes about that. Tomorrow's Sunday, we got church, and then after church, I think we're supposed to go swimming, and then Monday we have off. We get to hang out. So that'll be another good day of hanging out and doing nothing. So probably make another, goof off video Monday. I don't know if I'll do any tomorrow. I might. We'll see. So, but anyway, I figured I'd make a progression video and kind of go over the weather a little bit, because that's what we're progressing through, the weather of the seasons, and see how it's going. So, but anyway, I'll see you in the next video.